Hi, President Trump, he's keeping his promises, and he's showing everyone he's willing to fight for his agenda. Congressional Republicans are once again displaying they have no backbone whatsoever by capitulating to the Democrats and their demands and walking away from a budget fight and a budget battle. Now, instead of taking a stand, well, the GOP is punting until the end of September when this current government funding deal is set to expire. President Trump, on the other hand, he's made it very clear. He's actually willing to fight for his agenda. He tweeted out, quote, "The reason for the plan negotiated, by the way, between the Republicans and Democrats is that we need 60 votes in the Senate, which are not there. We either elect more Republican senators in 2018 or we change the rules now to 51%. Our country needs a good shutdown in September to fix this mess." Finally, yeah, they need to have a shutdown. Democrats, they use that as a weapon. Now, there are some positives in this deal, let's be fair. And the Office of Management and Budget Director, Mick Mulvaney, he highlighted this earlier today at the White House. Take a look.
You've heard a bunch of different numbers about the top-line defense number. I've heard as low as $10 or $12.5 billion. The number is $21 billion. Okay? That is what the additional defense spending is. We broke parity. Okay? And for those of you who've been covering this area for a long time know what that means. It means in the past several years, ever since the spending caps came on, ever since the sequester went in, there was this unwritten deal on Capitol Hill, which is for every dollar of defense spending that the Republicans wanted, they had to give $1 worth of non-defense spending to the Democrats. That was the deal that President Obama was able to cut during his last years in office. We got $21 billion of new defense spending for less than $5 billion of non-defense spending. So the president got his priorities funded. More money for the military, more money for the southern border security, and more money for school choice. Those are the same exact priorities that I talked about in March when we laid out the budget.
All right, here's the problem. These are wins, but modest wins, and it's not enough, and it falls short of what the president promised. Now, you, the American people, you're smart enough to see all of this. Now, of course, the destroy Trump propaganda media, they're jumping all over this with these headlines. Washington Post, Democrats confident they can block Trump's agenda after spending bill win. LA Times, Trump's big, beautiful wall is not in the spending plan. Will it ever get built? Now, Republicans, they control both houses of Congress, so, of course, they were going to get at least some of what they wanted. And as Mulvaney said earlier today, there is a $21 billion increase in defense spending. Great. But the president originally proposed a $54 billion increase. Now, there is $1.5 billion earmarked for border security and upgrading current infrastructure. But there's no funding for new border wall construction. And there's money set aside for charter schools, school choice. All of these are good things. But they should be given considering the advantage the GOP has on Capitol Hill. It seems like they don't know they're in charge yet. Let me show you how House Republicans fell short in some key areas. Now, the bill increases domestic spending instead of slashing it like the president wants. Planned Parenthood, for the time being, the next few months, will be still funded, and money is allowed for refugee resettlement. Now, federal funding for sanctuary cities, that will continue for the next few months, despite the president's promise to crack down on jurisdictions and municipalities that protect illegal immigrants. Puerto Rico, going bankrupt, they'll get almost $300 million taxpayer dollars in Medicaid money. And agencies the president wants to eliminate, like the National Endowment for the Arts, the National Endowment for Humanities, the Appalachian Regional Commissions, they instead will see funding increases. Now, in reality, this is a win for really basically Washington's status quo. It shows that if the Republicans in Congress, in the House, the leadership, won't take a stand now, then guess what? Are they ever? Should we all doubt? And now obstructionist Democrats, they seem to know that, and they're going to push for more concessions during the next round of funding negotiations. Now, remember back in 2009 when Barack Obama, he told the GOP leaders that, quote, elections have consequences. The same rules should now apply for Republicans in Congress and certainly for Donald Trump. You, the American people, you voted for a border wall. You voted for a major increase in defense spending and a leaner government bureaucracy. Just like with health care, I am running out of patience with Republicans in the U.S. Congress. Republicans in Congress need to stop surrendering on key issues and finally start delivering for once. Like maybe this week, repealing, replacing Obamacare and getting the job done and getting it over the finish line.